Hey guys, I wanted to talk about running biodiesel, running vegetable oil, running black diesel, alternative fuels, used engine oil, all of that stuff, alternative fuels. I've had a few guys ask, is it legal to run this stuff? And the short answer is no. Are you going to get in trouble for doing it? Also, I would say pretty good chance of no. Could you? Yes. So I just wanted to touch base because I've had a few guys ask and a few guys comment on it. And technically, if you were making biodiesel, in whether it's in the States or in Canada, if you're making biodiesel and you are registered with the government and you pay your road tax and blah, 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 all of that stuff, you are allowed to run it. That's biodiesel, though. It has to be turned into a fuel, as far as I understand. Now, as far as vegetable oil, black diesel, and all that type of stuff, technically, the way that I read it, this is how I read the law. I could be wrong, I'm not a lawyer. So take this with a grain of salt, is that you are allowed to run fuel additive in your fuel. It does not say how much fuel additive you're allowed to run. It does say you are allowed to run fuel additive. It does not say what the fuel additive has to be made out of. It does not say what the volume by volume has to be or can be. So take this with a grain of salt. If you put in 5 gallons of diesel fuel, 20 gallons of used oil, this is just for argument's sake, technically I'm adding 20 gallons of fuel conditioner or fuel additive to my 5 gallons of diesel fuel. Make sense? Now, are you, like, I know that most places you are not allowed to make alcohol, period, down in the States. In Canada, technically you're not allowed without a license. This is all licensing, right? If you license and you pay your taxes, they don't care. You can pretty much do anything you want. But technically you're not allowed to make it. I know most states and in Canada, they don't bother you as long as you are not selling it. Nobody bugs you. From how I read the law and have been told by a lawyer and have been told by police officers and DOT officers, depending on what we're talking about, as long as you're not selling it, making it mass quantity, they don't really care because you're a drop in the bucket. That being said, it is still technically not allowed. So anytime if you are running black diesel, vegetable oil, biodiesel, you are not running it as fuel, you are running it as fuel additive. Fuel additive, right? Because it does not state in anything that I've ever read. If you find different, please comment, let me know, a link, whatever. It does not, anywhere that I've read in the Canadian law and the US law that I can find, it does not say that you cannot run fuel additive or past a certain percentage. It just says you are allowed to run fuel additive and you can run it. Yeah, so you can run it. Now, like I said, if you're running way more fuel additive than you are fuel, that's how much additive I like to run because I like my shit to be lubricated, right? So I just wanted to touch base on that. Technically, you are not allowed to run this as a fuel. You are not allowed. But as an additive, you are. So like I said, I wanted to touch base on that. And basically, really when it comes down to it, is the government wants the taxes for running on the road. And don't get me wrong, it's not that I don't pay taxes. I pay every cent of tax that I have to pay. I pay business tax, I pay personal tax, I pay I pay my dividend tax on my investments and all of that stuff, my business's tax. We pay all that. I pay what I have to pay in tax. So it's not that, and you have to pay tax. I know lots of people always harp on this, and maybe I'll get a little grief, but without taxes, we basically have nothing. We don't have school systems, we don't have road systems, we don't have infrastructure, we don't have any of that stuff. So this isn't free. It comes, you have to pay tax, otherwise this stuff goes away. Unless you live in the middle of nowhere, never touch a road, never use a phone, any of that type of stuff. You know, like everything costs money. It is what it is. And I pay my taxes. I pay what I am bound to pay for taxes. You know, if I have to pay $50,000 in tax, this is what I pay. Is what it is. But, you know, where I can save myself in taxes, I'm going to save myself in taxes. Because why pay more tax than you have to? Right? So, like I said, I just wanted to touch base on that for you guys because I have got the questions. You know, if you're running it as a fuel additive, you're good to go. Now this is another something else, and I don't know this for sure, but running ATF fluid, it is red, same color as marked fuel. If you got pulled over and you were running a large amount of ATF fluid, your diesel fuel is going to be red. Could you get a ticket for running marked fuel? I don't know. Technically, it's red fuel, but they do, I know here, they used to anyway, I haven't had a vehicle tested in many years, is they used to use a plastic or like a litmus paper test. They dipped it into the fuel and it either came back that it was colored or it wasn't. I don't know if you had one of those strips, if you dipped it into ATF fluid, whether or not it would be marked or not. I'm not sure. So that's a question. Let me now know down below if you know if one of you guys are a DOT guy or know a DOT guy, a police officer, whatever it may be. I know that lots of guys don't like to say that they are because they don't want to catch the grief, because they catch grief all the time, is what it is. But if you happen to know somebody that is, or you actually do know somebody that is, let us know down in the comments. I'm actually very curious, or even if I could get some of those test strips. Somebody wanted to send me some of those test strips for testing it. Don't have to put your name on it, nothing. Send me some test strips so we could actually test it and see. I don't know. One of those things. I'd be very curious. It'd be a science experiment. So, like I said, this one's not too long, but let me know. Comment down below. Like, subscribe, hit me down in the comments. And remember, it's not rocket science.